During closing statements, Chew and Camille Vasquez were highly praised for the way they defended Johnny. Elaine Bredehoft's closing statement was vastly dismissed and titled bad. Rottenborn, on the other hand, received some praise for his work throughout the case and at closing. However, it's now being alleged that Rottenborn may have taken inspiration for part of his closing statements from another lawyer. So which part of his statement did Rottenborn seemingly copy? Is it even a copy, or is it just a loose similarity? Keep watching to find out. It's said that Rottenborn copied his closing statements from an old interview. If I were one of Heard's attorneys, I would tell the jury, you don't have to believe everything Amber Heard has said. You don't even have to believe every violent allegation. You just have to believe one, said NBC News legal analyst Danny Savelos. If you conclude that Johnny Depp was violent to her once, she wins because she can say truthfully that she's an abuse survivor. Let us compare this with a similar line from Rottenborn's closing statement. If Amber was abused by Mr. Depp even one time, then she wins. It's not about who's the better spouse. It's not about whether you think Amber was also abusive to Mr. Depp. They are trying to trick you into thinking Amber needs to be perfect in order to win. There is indeed a resemblance in the statements, but not enough to be called a copy. However, the internet is divided. One person said that, no, that was a common sentiment among lawyers because it was the quickest way to victory. It's as if anyone who says 1 + 1 = 2 is simply repeating everyone who has said the same thing before them. It's simply the most logical argument to make in that situation. Another stated that Rottenborn's first few sentences in closing did not sound like he wrote them. I wouldn't be surprised if they hired outside counsel from legal analysts who predicted Depp would lose. In a similar vein, reporters and their Twitter threads fine-tuning AHPR strategies. One more fan commented that if one thing is a lie, everything else is a lie. You either believe everything or nothing at all. A fan further replied that it's so funny, he said. Even if the jury believes the only thing they have to find in her favor is the kitchen video. That's some desperate behavior. Another added that this is the muddy middle I believe Heard's side was aiming for. Cast enough doubt on Depp's side that he may have abused her once, which debunks his claim that I never hit her and makes her a victim of abuse. However, both the article and her testimony mentioned sexual abuse. As a result of Amber, the muddy middle became impossible. He either raped and beat her or he did not. You either lived in Amber's or Depp's reality. One more comment said, simply stating that even one case of abuse counts acknowledges that some of them are lies, and you, the jury, must find the one that is most likely the truth. JD's argument is far superior. You either believe all of it or none of it. Another said that, how do we know JD abused her once if none of her allegations are credible enough to be believed? On that, a fan replied that, as Rottenborn put it, the way Johnny acted in the kitchen video is evidence of abuse, and even if you believe she and her friends are lying about everything else, you must find it in Amber's favor. He didn't say it directly, but he implied it. One more user said that Rottenborn's definition of abuse was overly broad. He didn't even say violent abuse, so he was basically saying that if Johnny said or did anything that Amber didn't like, it was abuse and the jury had to rule in Amber's favor. Hell no, Rottenborn, I don't think so, I said. The jury was of the same mind. I wish I could remember which YouTuber or Redditor said that by Rottenborn standards, Johnny would be considered abusive if he ever left the toilet seat up. Thank goodness for the jury's common sense. On that, a fan replied that even abuse and abusive are not synonymous. Couples can be abusive to one another. In fact, almost all couples will be abusive to each other at some point, even if only for a brief moment. Imagine judging women in this way based on their hormonal issues, period, pregnancy, etc. And it's very easy to argue that most victims of abuse will be abusive in return. For example, if a woman's husband is constantly cheating on her, she becomes very suspicious and begins checking his phone, installing trackers on his devices, and constantly checking his whereabouts, as well as being controlling over where he is and who he hangs out with, and being passive-aggressive, etc. Another said that there were some law tubers who shared the same viewpoint. It appears to be a common practice in trials to use the if there was only one XXX, then YYYY applies strategy. Further, a user said that I'm not sure if you're taking this seriously, but I doubt it. This was released on Thursday afternoon, the 26th, and closing arguments were delivered the following morning. The main framing argument would have been planned and written much earlier, and this is just a basic legal insight into what it was likely to be. Do you think Rottenborn copied his closing statement? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.